Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Dual Threat Podcast, brought to you on the Holy City High Podcast Network, live on YouTube and Twitch. Also, you can follow us on any local podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Once this is recorded, I am your host, Nappy Nick. I'm along with Ryan, my fellow FSU compadre, and the Hawaii guy up there, Jacoby. Finally making an appearance. Clemson's not ducking us anymore. Hey, gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing good.
It'd be a lot better if we hadn't lost the pit.
Well, we're speak on that. Well, let's jump into it. Let's not hold it. Ryan, I'm going to give you the floor before I get my thoughts. If you haven't heard, Florida State lost the pit 34-31. Mike Norvell is definitely catching some pretty big heat. In our private chat, I was pretty much going off about about my thoughts on Mike Norvell. I'm gonna give my true thoughts. But Ryan, as the other voice of Florida State on this podcast, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest issues is something that I've brought up before in past weeks, but their defensive players are not lining up in the scheme. They're biting real hard on a lot of fake plays and trick plays, things that they should be prepared for that just seem to keep getting lost in the minutia of the game. And I think Pitt knew that. I mean, more than once were there either a bootleg or a trick play that caught the safeties moving up or the linebackers dropping back when instead it should have been the reverse, and Pitt took advantage of it. A lot of mismatched coverages. We're talking linebackers on wide receivers, corners covering the tight end. Just seemed poor defensive scheme, which stinks because the offense looks like a well-oiled machine. If they could get just a couple of stops and avoid a turnover here and there, they'd probably be undefeated right now.
All right. Any more for the people or the base? Before I go in?
Hold tight. Oh, don't give up hope.
All right, don't give up hope.
We already have one more season than last year, man. Already got one more season than last year. There, one more win. Sorry.
Well, as you guys know, if there's a day, there's got to be a night. And I'm the dark side of the tape, figuratively and literally.
The darkness.
So I had a couple of days. I rewatched this game yesterday because I really was kind of, when I was watching, I wasn't like fully watching it the way I needed to, because I was watching some other games also. But then I fully rewatch it, and let me tell you, I'm done with Mike Norvell. I'm out. Even reviewing the game, I'm like, this is year 6, and my frustrations have been constant. So, beginning of the season, before I tell actually in this game, I said the number one thing that I was worried about this team was the defensive line, that they could not get pressure on the quarterback without blitz. Yep. And the Alabama game gave us false gold. It was like it looked pretty, it looked good. We thought that was going to be the norm. Then, East Texas A&M, obviously, Kent State wasn't. They don't have the athletes we have. Then it came Virginia, came Miami, came Pitt, and we just can't get to the quarterback. There's not a difference maker on that defensive line. We don't have one really on the defense in general. In addition to that, I know Ryan's point to the offense not playing that bad. Then I went back and looked at the tape, and I was like, nope, disagree. We're up 21-14 at halftime, up one score. We got the ball in the second half and went, and boom, there's no halftime adjustments to make the plays. Really not even halftime adjustments, just poor execution. Remember what's happened. We get the ball, Pitt scores, and took the lead for it. And it was just it's just the same thing year in and year out. Like there's no discipline, there's poor execution. You go to these press conferences and admit we're going to change the mistakes, and they still come back up. And it's just like I have no trust or belief that this is actually going to be anything different. Even the undefeated season that happened in 2024, I didn't forget that Pitt game we almost lost. I didn't forget that Boston College game we almost lost. I didn't forget that after looking really good against Notre Dame, we followed up with a loss to Jacksonville State. Like, there's no consistency. In 5 years or 6 years of a coach, you have 3 losing seasons. And so far, you're 500 right now. You have won one game in 11 tries in conference play in the ACC in the last 2 years. Now, here's some other new stats.
And 14.
Yeah. And let's look at the with 2 and 4. You're right. Now, let's just look at some other numbers that I went and dug a little deeper. Since Norvell took over, his recruiting classes have ranked 22nd, 23rd, 20th twice, 12th, and 19th. Not one time I could ever in my life remember, even under the last years of Bobby Bowden, the beginning years of Jimbo Fisher, even Willie Taggart, that FSU didn't have at least one top 10 recruiting class in the state of Florida. It's bonkers to me. Like, it's crazy. Let's go a little deeper. Player retention amongst those classes. In 2020, 25 players were signed. Only 7 stayed. 2021, 17 signed. Only 4 stayed amongst the course of 3 or 4 years of that class. 22, 17 signed, 4 stayed. 23, 19 signed. This is best class, 23 class so far. 12 have stayed so far. In the 24 class, 23 signed, 4 are already gone. How can you develop a culture of a program when your players that you're recruiting at the high school level can't see the field or not getting developed? Like, the culture comes from like a freshman and sophomore seeing how a junior and a senior is performing, which sets up a standard and an expectation to what you need to live up, what the bar should be. Like, if you're constantly going to the transfer, like the transfer portal was nice to get FSU a jump to get back relevant, which it did initially. But I think what people are not understanding, I'm seeing this in the Facebook group, I'm seeing this on X, I'm seeing this stuff. NIL is done. Like, not completely done. Like, players are getting paid. I'm not saying there's a full cap, but FSU operates like there's a full cap. But your roster is going to be $20 and $25 million a year. And it's going to go up as the revenue share goes up. But, like, money is not what gets players to play for you. Like, FSU has plenty of money. You're a top 5, top 10 spender when it comes to getting players. That's not what's going to get these players. Again, they want to see the field, and they want to be developed, and they want to make it to the NFL. Ryan, how many players that Mike Norvell has actually recruited that wasn't a transfer that have been drafted?
I don't think there has been one yet. I think most of the players, 2
players.
2. Okay.
I think it was Joshua Farmer.
No, I would have said none.
Yeah, 2 and 6 years at Florida State.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Not a single quarterback. You're an offensive coordinator. That was your bread and butter. Haven't had a single quarterback that you developed that was already on the roster. Jordan Travis was a Willie Taggart product, by the way, guys. Just heads up for like that. Just saying. A couple more things before I let it go. Jacob,
before you move on to that, actually, the player retention is that is a very good point, especially in the state of Florida. Florida is one of the 3 most deep, as far as recruiting goes, states in the country, alongside Texas and California, just barely beating out Pennsylvania and Ohio. And
Georgia's probably number 2.
If Georgia's moved up, I've missed that. But Florida's always been up there in the top 3. And there is almost an endless well of talent that has grown up watching Florida State football that should be taken advantage of. These are players who should want to stay there. These are players who watched this as their favorite team and should want to be part of that long-term culture. And so to A, not be recruiting well out of the state of Florida, and B, unable to hold the attention of players who you do bring in from your own home state, that is a problem.
Like 100%. Like stuff. Like since 1976, Florida State has 6 losing seasons. Norvell has 3 of them. He's been there 6 years. Like what more? It's like I lost faith. And like I said this in the beginning of the season. I know I'm running a little bit longer, but I don't care.
He's going to say what he's got to say.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But it's like beginning of the season, I said that 7-5 and 6-6 will not cut it for this season. Like you had the 4 big games, Miami, Clemson, Alabama, and Florida, then the other 8. And you already lost. You're 0-2 in the other 8. And you're 1-1 in the big 4. And there's no rhyme or reason that I think you could beat Clemson and Florida, which both games are on the road. Later in the season, when these teams are going to probably figure out. Now, the Florida, we see where Billy Napier is going to be after running the gauntlet. But I think Clemson would be improved. I'm not saying they're going to be competing for an ACC title. We see it's a long season, but like they're going to be more to know what they are by that season. That's part of the last like big major home game because they go to Columbia this year. In addition to that, it's just like the standing like to kind of get this message to recruiting. I'm just like kind of go back to piggyback on that. It's just like if you're going to like these kids' homes and their parents are going to talk to you, but like I want to get my player to the league, and you have no track record of not only developing them, but they're not even seeing the field. Like we have about 4 or 5-star players that have left and never developed. Like now, you could call them busts or whatever, but some of your responsibilities is to develop these players, like stuff, and they're not living up to expectations. I'm not like someone was saying, like, oh, we can win now and go 9-3. I was like, we can go 9-3, and I still might be mad about it. Because it's like, because if you lose to your remaining schedule outside of Clemson, Florida, is Stanford this weekend, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, and NC State. You lose to any of those teams, I think you should be done. Personally, that's all I got.
I mean, I'll give you 3 of those. I will argue in favor of NC State, as that is a regular team that catches Florida State by surprise, regardless of who's helming the field. And Dave Dorian has a nasty habit of pulling upsets where he shouldn't be. But I absolutely agree. If any losses happen with Stanford, Wake Forest, or Virginia Tech, that seat either needs to get a whole lot hotter, or somebody else needs to take the reins, whether it be within the staff or not. Those are 3 games right now that you should be using to show off your program, show off what you've accomplished over 6 years, and reintroduce yourself as a force to be reckoned with in college football. A lucky win over Alabama is only going to hold you over for so long.
That's a little bit of the crazy part. Because you actually look at his overall record, he's pretty good against SEC, which is like the mind-blowing thing about it. It's like it's kind of like you hype yourself up for the biggest games and you let yourself down for the rest. And it's just like that's consistency.
Well, it's been the same with Norvell and Notre Dame too. Norvell, I believe, is 2-1 against Notre Dame since taking over at Florida State, and all 3 times Notre Dame has been favored. So it's not that he drops the big games; it's that he drops all of the little in betweens that shouldn't be an issue.
At a program like Florida State,
at a program like Florida State, that's where that is not the standard. That is Bowden on the outside at 82. That is not Bobby in the prime coaching 19 consecutive ACC championships.
Yeah.
Or conference championships, excuse me.
Yeah. It's like, with 2 more points, the NC State point. NC State, who beat Virginia, by the way, Just lost 36-7 Notre Dame last week. In my last tidbit, then we'll move on because I know I've been 15 minutes at this already.
Yeah.
Curcinetti at Indiana, who also kind of built his program the same way, transfer portal. It's a little different because most of that was JMU coming over to Indiana. But he's 19-2 so far in 2 years at Indiana. A year and a half, not even full 2 years yet. Playoff appearance, just a big win over Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Who's been
huge
one of the premier teams of the last 4 or 5 years since Dan Lannon's been there. I'm just like, you're in the ACC, bro. Like, it's Miami and Clemson and everybody else. Like, that should be your stuff. And it's kind of like, Mark Cristobal, say what you want about him as far as like his strategy on game days. But as far as getting players and developing those players, top tier, at least in this conference.
Well, I would argue that Cristobal has also been a massive benefactor of the transfer portal, especially this year and last.
I won't counter that, but he also has put out top 10 recruiting classes. Like it's not that it's nothing wrong with using the transfer portal. But it's supposed to complement the high school talent that you're recruiting also. Like no matter what you say about the transfer portal, and that's only going to get harder as you move forward. That top end, high end talent you're only going to get from high school. Like it's rare to get those players. Like we're not going to land a Jared Verse that was just a dime a dozen, a Brandon Fitz, a dime a dozen. Like that's going to be rare to get. Like they're going to be out there, but you're talking about 2 or 3 players out of how many are going to be in the transfer portal?
Yeah, hundreds.
Hundreds, like stuff. But we're going to keep it moving, guys. On stuff. That was that was a lot of tension.
You get it all out of you?
It's all out. It's all out.
It's all out. Okay.
It's all out. It's all out. We'll move forward. Right now, like I don't know. I'm gonna watch that game come Saturday, especially at 10 o'clock at night. I might just check the score on my phone every now and then, check notification. All right, one quick thought before we go on to the game. We actually have a full slate this week. James Franklin out at Penn State. Any quick thoughts on that? Jacob, since you've been quiet for about 20 minutes, I'll give you first dibs.
Yeah, I'll let y'all do that. I had my spill on Clemson, weeks ago. So, but kind of expected, especially after, blowing 2 20-point favorites. And he can't win the big game. That's obviously the topic of conversation. But I think it's time, then part ways, start find somebody that's going to fit with that winning attitude that can get over that hump for him. So I think, you never like it midseason, but sometimes you got to make a change for it hurts you even more. So I think Penn State made the right decision. Hopefully they can still salvage their season, salvage their recruits, because obviously that's going to hurt them big time.
Yeah.
Especially probably not being able to name a coach instantly. Like that's the hard part now.
That's the problem. Yeah.
And so the decommits are. I think we're going to see more, but maybe after they hire somebody in there, they'll be able to maybe regain some of them, but I highly doubt that. So, but we'll see what happens with them.
Okay. What's your Ryan?
It felt like the appropriate move. Losing back-to-back UCLA and Northwestern. Franklin's done an amazing job up at Penn State. He's been able to – Bill O'Brien really righted the ship, but he's been able to steer it for a solid 10, 11 seasons now. But he was never able to surpass the other – big momentum teams in Ohio State and Michigan. He was really never able to make a run at the playoffs. I don't believe he ever played in the Big Ten championship.
He has one.
He has one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. One of his first years. And yeah, they probably should have gone over Ohio State, but Ohio State won the championship that year. So what do I know?
Yeah.
But that aside, how long ago was that? That was what, 10, 11 seasons ago,
Yeah.
So, yeah, beating up annually on your Indiana's, Illinois, Michigan States, and Rutgers. That's just not going to cut it anymore. We're in a period where the big game is the factor, because the playoffs are all about playing the best of the best. It's not about streaking through your schedule anymore and landing an optimal spot and hoping you pull it off. As we've seen the last few years, there's just a massive difference between the top and the bottom of the playoffs. And teams that can't win the big ones during the season are unlikely to win the big ones come crunch time. And so I think Penn State saw that unwaveringly. James Franklin had a huge deficit in the top 10 victories department, and they need somebody with the talent that they have to be able to push past and actually make a legitimate run at a championship.
Yeah, I think y'all covered about most. My quick tidbits. I say kind of like double down. It had to be made. Like, you can't lose Northwestern, UCLA. This is zero tolerance. This is already come off losing to Oregon. Also, this was an all-in effort by Penn State this year to go try to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean they were Vegas favorites to win the championship starting the season.
I didn't believe that, but I think some of it's kind of like, I think people they made a good playoff run last year, but also got to remember who they beat: SMU and Boise State. So they kind of just got a layup to make it to the semifinal.
Right. And that's kind of what I was getting on. Like, yes, they can make the playoffs, but those aren't the big wins you're looking for. Like SMU and Boise State. Boise State will get a good upset every once in a while, but those are two teams that if you are aiming for a championship, you should put away.
Yeah, without question.
We shouldn't be aligning points for those wins in the playoffs.
And not to be sad, but Nebraska fans, about 2 months, better say bye to Matt Rule.
You think?
I think it's a done deal, honestly.
Really?
I'm leaning towards him right now too.
Yeah, I just think because how fast this happened, and the fact that because you got to think, like, it's not just his buyout. His buyout's not all at one time either. It's over over a few years.
Well, yeah, this is his third year. Yeah. He's got Nebraska exactly where you want to be right now.
No, I'm talking about James Franklin.
Oh, Franklin. I'm sorry.
It's over a few years, and And when you look at like the entire staff, I think it's like $100 million total. What's going to cost them to really kind of like revamp? They probably keep some of that staff, but I think for you to make a decision like that, there's some like assurances that was made, because it happened in less than 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they probably was on edge. They would probably say, let's see how it goes the rest of the season. And you lose Northwestern, and then it's just like, oh, this has to happen. This is my two bigs. I know Kirstenelli's like the other big one, but I think Indiana has the money to keep him.
Indiana doesn't. It's not just that they secured optimal situation by signing him to a 9-year deal last year, which is going to be nigh impossible to buy out. Right. Your 4 or 5 year deals, sure, you can come up with enough money out of pocket to pay off that 30-40 million buyout, but you're not going to be happy about it. But when you're approaching that 9-10 year range, I don't know, you better have Nike money.
Nike money. I don't know.
I think Indiana, they're going to try to keep him as long as they can.
Like I said, Nick mentioned it. They have the money. They signed him to a 9-year deal. Like, there's a reason for that. They were confident in the product that they had, and they wanted nobody else to be able to touch it.
Yeah, I think Indiana's got their guy. They almost, if they make a run at this one this year, which I think they have a legit shot, that's just going to solidify that for him. And then he's going to potentially end up in like a Dabo or Smart situation where the university kind of has him, and he's their guy and he's still relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
when it can, obviously he's not as young as some of the coaches, but he's still at middle of the road. He's got a long career to go. So
Right. Yeah.
and I think if Indiana wants to stay relevant, they got to keep him. So whatever he wants, you got to get him that.
And what's most surprising is this coming from Indiana, a team that really has no relevance in college football ever before. So he's essentially just inventing this program at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very similar to what, how Dabo's career went, at Clemson. It
Dabo's
took over
a
a
good
mediocre program and turned it into the juggernaut that it was for the 10 years. Obviously
but
right
I mean,
now.
I won't quite give him the juggernaut attention.
Yeah, it was
I'll aim it more to Spurrier with the Gamecocks.
Well, I'm not saying that,
momentum,
but he's on that path that it could end up like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not giving it to them yet. They still got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work. I mean, they got to win. And you also got Ohio State in your conference.
Right.
Which they don't play them until the championship.
A possible Big Ten championship.
Big Ten, which would be an epic championship game, I think.
I mean, undefeated 1-2 Ohio State versus Indiana. That would be something else, honestly.
Yeah, right. Shout out to the homie Carly. She's a big Hoosier fan, so sure to love that. Never thought she'd be celebrating football in Indiana,
right?
Other than the Colts.
No. No, nobody. They always look forward to basketball season.
Right.
Right.
All right, guys. I got 5 games on the slate. This is actually a pretty loaded weekend. So there's also going to be a few other games I might mention outside of these 5. But we're going to start in Columbia, South Carolina. We got the Boomer Sooners taking on the Gamecocks. Oklahoma is a 5.5-point favorite. The over-under is 43. Let me see if I can find this right quick. I just saw this right before we went on. This is a Brent Venables quote. Now, some guy posted this. I guess this was at a press conference. I'm gonna read this verbatim. And the Big 12 retweeted this on X or Twitter. I call it Twitter. Twitter's just a better name for it. Brent Venables on playing the SEC and being in a one-possession league. As he quoted, this isn't the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody every single week except one game of the year. Big 12 Conference retweeted per Brent Venables. Coach Venables lost 8 conference games in 2 seasons in the Big 12.
Oh, no.
I love a troll job, man. I love a troll job. So, Ryan, what are you expecting from this game? Oklahoma coming off that loss to Texas, where they only put up 6 points. John Mateer played, but he's come off an injury or come off surgery on his right hand and was very limited against that Texas defense. Obviously, South Carolina's not the same caliber of a defense, but they have actually vastly improved over the season. They still have Dylan Stewart to contend with on the offensive line. Do you think Oklahoma can score no points on the game house to get this win?
I mean, it's very interesting to think about. I said last week that I thought it would be a mistake to rush Mateer out too early. And honestly, I still stand by that. I still think, honestly, because of what happened last week, that he should be resting again. I don't even know if offense is going to be a significant factor in this game coming up this weekend. Sellers is still having difficulty reining in some of his passes. His pass completion last week was much better, but still turning the ball over. And then Oklahoma, I mean, their offense was non-existent. I don't expect Mateer has gotten any healthier. I don't think they're going to change their scheme to feature the run game anymore without him. So honestly, I think there's a chance the defenses might be the point scorers or be more likely to score points this week between these two teams. Oklahoma, of course, has the utilities and has the playmakers to do it, but as long as you're featuring Mateer and his escapability in your offense, I think you have to kind of cut your losses this week. It's not looking hopeful, but who knows? Maybe one more week of rest, one more week of returning to practice, will get Mateer ready to play in Columbia.
All right, Jacob, any quick thoughts?
I agree a lot with Ryan. I think Mateer was rushed back. I mean, he had 3 picks in that game. He couldn't really run the ball, which they rely on him a lot. I think this is ripe for the upset, to be honest with you. Carolina, it's a night game. Willie B's, they rocking no matter what's going on. So
No, 12:30. 12 o'clock.
12:30.
12:45 game.
I thought it was a night game. Oh, my bad.
You're in Hawaii.
6:45 a.m., not p.m. All right. Okay.
You got to remember you're in Hawaii time now, man.
But either way, every time I've gone to Williams-Brice, I mean, they could be losing and still out there rocking. So I think Mateer just isn't ready to come back and play. They're forcing his hand, and it's unfortunately, I think Carolina's going to be able to take advantage of that, maybe get a pick that they shouldn't have gotten because it's just off still a little bit. And that's probably going to be a difference in this game. And if Stewart can have a big game, if he can get in that backfield and kind of get an early hit or two on him, I think he's going to have that in his mind, and it's going to disrupt him the rest of the game. And with that, and like I said, I think the stadium is going to be a big factor in this game. So.
Yeah, definitely. If Oklahoma's coming for a little revenge. Carolina kind of blitzed them last season, got to a big lead early. I think this is I think the under is 1% to play in this game for anyone that's on the betting side of it. This is like a 17-14 type game. For it,
might be 10-9.
Yeah, 10-9. I wouldn't doubt.
That would be ugly. Ugh.
I mean, it has the potential for it, man. I think the offensive lines for both these teams are just not that good. And the defensive lines are pretty great on both sides. So I just think, Lenore Sellers, as much as I love him, he's running for his life almost every play. And you're seeing in his play, he doesn't trust his offensive line. That's why he either holds the ball or tries to run to make a big play. And he does have a problem. He needs to check down a little more. Just, hey, you don't have to get it all every single play. Sometimes you just got to take the quick read so you can just keep the ball moving forward. But I think this is a prime upset, kind of like with Jacob, 5.5 shots. South Carolina's not that bad. I know they're not as good as originally thought, as they lost a lot last year. But I think they still got some plays. I think they got to be able to run the ball. And I know it's going to be kind of hard because it's kind of double down, and the offensive line just doesn't block nobody. And there's a little pressure creeping up on Shane Beamer. It's been there, but now I'm thinking, South Carolina's about to get in the big stretch now. You got Oklahoma this week, Bama next week. Those losses are piling. Virginia Tech, Blacksburg looks a little quieter than Columbia.
Yeah, well, hey, they're saying that they're willing to write a blank check. In order to get Beamer up at Virginia Tech. So
South Carolina paying pretty good over the couple of years, Change the scene won't hurt nobody. Not trying to be down on the Gamecock fans or watching this stuff, but I'm gonna call the upset. I'm hoping for the upset at least. But we're gonna start with one state and go to the other. ACC conference battle. We got SMU coming to Death Valley to take on the Tigers. 8.5-point favorite is Clemson. 2-game winning streak with the Tigers. Over under is 55.5. Our resident Clemson fan, Jacoby, floor is yours.
I mean, I kind of see this going kind of our other games besides Boston College. It's probably going to end up being a closer game than it should be. I think defensively we've kind of done a little bit better. Offensively against Boston College, I mean, we did okay. I wasn't still impressed. We're kind of in that cruise mode right now. We're flying under the radar. We still have potential to hopefully finish the season well. I'm still just annoyed at the beginning half of the season, just how we couldn't get it together. But I think they're slowly getting there. However, we lost one too many at this point to be in contention, I think. But we don't deserve it right now. But I think overall, this game, though, SMU is probably in the beginning going to come out firing, because that's what you got to do against us, is get us on the ropes. And as soon as you do, you can start taking your jabs. But I just don't think they got enough against this defensive line right now. And what's his name? Jennings is going to probably be having to run a lot more in this game. So he could be a playmaker, but like I said, I think overall we'll end up defensively taking over the game.
All right. Any quick thoughts, Ryan?
No, I agree. Clemson's looking a whole lot better. They're figuring it out week by week. They're doing, what happens when you do drop games that you shouldn't be early in the season. They're correcting mistakes. Defensively, they've looked decent all year. Looking much better right now. The offense is finally starting to put some things together. I don't expect SMU to come out of Death Valley with a victory. I expect Clemson will handle business.
I mean, y'all expected Syracuse to do the same thing too, and they didn't. Are y'all crazy? Y'all know who Clemson just beat the last 2 weeks? North Carolina, who might be the worst Power 4 team of all the Power 4 teams, and Boston College. It's Boston. I'm not saying SMU is going to get the upset, but they can 100% win this game. I think Kevin Jennings, their offense can definitely put up points. I think Kevin Jennings is kind of starting getting back into his groove. You see right now, they beat Stanford 34-10. They beat Syracuse the week before.
And that's Stanford. Hey, lucky win against Syracuse. But
they beat Syracuse 31-18, the same Syracuse that beat Clemson in Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling the upset, and this is not me hating. I know Jacob out here grinning. There's no hate, Clemson fans. I want y'all to win. I want that Florida State Clemson game to be something bigger than what I initially thought it was going to be. But I think SMU can win this game. I don't think they will. But I don't know. It's just like, the offense looked better, but I got to keep in mind the talent they were facing. They were facing two teams that are pretty bad.
Well, that's why I'm saying if they come out and punch us in the mouth, then it's going to be a fight the rest of the game. You know, that's why I'm not locking this one in by any means. Honestly, I don't even know why I threw it on my card for later. But
blind faith, though.
Yeah, but yeah, realistically looking at it, they could, just like every other team. I mean, hell, look at who was it? Troy. Freaking came out and punched us in the mouth, and look how that game ended up.
I do think that this is a different Clemson team we're looking at than the Troy game, though. I do think
I agree with that too, but
yeah, I do think that they figured some things out about the run scheme. I think Klubnik's, whatever was going on with him, I think he's now had 2 games to kind of shake the cobwebs off, gain a little more confidence. I expect to see that progression continue.
Yeah. I give the benefit of the doubt that this SMU defense isn't great. I'm right too. So we see if they can, especially on the defensive line. Like, I think they lost a lot of players they got last year. I know Clemson's offensive line is not great, but I think they should be able to handle. But I think eight points might be a little bit much. I feel like this should be closer to 3.5 to 4. Where did this open up at, actually? I'll get to it. I don't know. It's just acting up on me. Anyway, we'll keep moving. Keep moving. Throw a little shade at that. We go to the SEC. We got number 5, Ole Miss, going down to Athens to take on the Bulldogs. 7-point favorite. Quick shout to Nikki and Rob. People love to find me in my DMs, man, before State lose. And Nikki's one of them.
Oh, yeah. She always been like that.
Always trolling, man. Always trolling. Love you, though. I love you. But we got the Bulldogs.
I don't know you, Nikki, but you and I are enemies now.
She's good people's, man. She's just a Georgia fan. We all can't be perfect.
True that.
Ryan, we'll start with you, man. We were talking about this in like our little pre-show. Is the wrong team favorite in this game?
I think so. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Ole Miss the team that upset Georgia last year?
Yeah.
So we already know that Kiffin has figured some sort of chink in the armor of Georgia, and honestly, Georgia has sputtered through a significant amount of its wins. And unlike Clemson, I haven't seen them improving on some of those mistakes. Whereas Ole Miss seems to, whatever small inconsistencies they have, clamp down like the freaking bear trap and pull those out of the equation the next week. Lane Kiffin looks masterful right now in having his team prepared. And they have, other than week 3 against, week 4 against, I can't even recall, Southern Miss or whoever it was that they stumbled with. Since then, they've seemed.
That was last week.
That was that was already last week.
Yeah, it was Washington State.
Washington State last week.
Man, my
33.5 point favorites.
My memory is shot. Okay. Well, I still expect them to reconvene, figure out what they did improperly in that game last week, and come out swinging. And honestly, the Ole Miss wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs have all been receiving the ball very well. Lots of yards after catch. And I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about with that defense. Not if they get their heads back in the game. I think Ole Miss is definitely slighted by not being favored in this one.
Yeah.
What about you, Jacoby?
Yeah, I think the Royal team is definitely favored in this. I just don't have. Yeah, Georgia's been somewhat dominant in these games. They have already faced Bama, which was, kind of a between the trenches type game. Shootout with Tennessee. So they've been inconsistent kind of defensively, I feel like. Last week against Auburn, that was a weird game. A lot of calls that were weird. Kirby calling a timeout versus clapping. I don't know if it would have changed the game or not right there, but they did have 2 seconds on the clock. And
suspicious.
Yeah, it was real weird. But, but even you look at Ole Miss, they've had nail biters in a lot of these games. Arkansas, touchdown game. LSU, another touchdown game. Then last week, you look at them and they're a little, I guess they were just overlooking this game, probably looking at Georgia already. But I think if any time this year, Kiffin this is like one of his years that if Kiffin's going to make this run, he's got to do it this year. So I think they're going to be ready and definitely covering this, but I got them. I mean, I don't see them not winning this game, even in Georgia. So,
I think it'd be hard pressed for Ole Miss to not win this game.
Right, and I think getting in a shootout with Ole Miss is not what you want to do.
That is definitely not where you want to be. No,
so,
you want to be ahead.
With this quarterback too, I mean, he's doing. I mean, in my opinion, he's one of the top quarterbacks as far as consistency goes. And their running game is pretty good, too. I think their running back's got 8 TDs already this season as well. So, and that's a Lacey. But that's probably due to the fact that he's throwing the ball halfway down the field and they're getting the ball inside the 10 and he's running them in. But so, yeah, I think Ole Miss walks out of Athens with this W.
I'm hoping Georgia blows them out.
You're hoping, or you think?
I'm hoping.
You're hoping. Okay, you're hoping.
It's a game I wouldn't bet on because
more so I'm not touching that, betting that, but
it's not a game I would bet on because I don't know.
It's unpredictable.
This isn't the Georgia team that we've been accustomed to. They're good. They're definitely talented, but they're definitely vulnerable. But also, Ole Miss can do one of two things. They can show up and pop out, kind of like Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and just like go ham on them, or they can just not show up and get blown the hell out on both sides. But also, I'm like, man, Lane Kiffin looks good in Tallahassee.
We don't need that conversation again. No, I don't need that. I don't need that
out there. Kiffin,
no.
He looks good in Tallahassee. You know?
Might as well suggest Jeremy Pruitt again.
Hey man, we just gotta keep him up. Keep Jeremy Pruitt out of the college bars.
Just keep Jeremy Pruitt out of college. Send him to the pros where he can't hit on anybody.
Stuff. Hey man, Bobby Petrino's back at Arkansas. You know, if he can come back from that, you know.
Just because you can come back from it doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should, right?
I'm gonna order me a neck brace for Halloween, you know. Get some makeup, give me a little black, you know. I'm just saying, man. Oh, Bobby, Lane Kiffin, Tally, you know. I'm just putting that in the air, see what happens, where it lands. I was texting D just now, see if I can get him on the live. He didn't respond to me. He texted me back earlier, I didn't see it. Because we are talking about his Irish, as the Trojans are going down to South Bend, Indiana, and take on the Fighting Irish. It's funny to call the Trojans, given the fact that, you know, these are two Catholic schools. I guess Catholics be funny, but
the Trojans aren't very Catholic.
Not very Catholic at all. Not at LA at least.
Not anyone I ever met.
Right. Southern Cal come off a big win against Michigan, going to South Bend, take on Notre Dame. What is it, Carson Carr? That's his name. QB. He's been pretty balling. And I know they've been hyping up Notre Dame, but he's also been facing a pretty good, easy schedule outside of Texas A&M and Miami. We'll throw this to Jacoby since he loves Notre Dame so much. You think the Irish can bounce and get this W? You know, they don't have really no marquee wins. They really gonna need this if they really want to have an argument for a playoff push. And three loss Notre Dame kind of looks like a out to me with their schedule. Is there any way that USC upsets them?
You know, this is one of my toss-up games this week. I'm not really sure which way to lean at the moment. USC is coming in kind of hot. You know, they've built the past couple weeks, improved. Last week was a big win for them. You know, Notre Dame, they had their two good games earlier in the season. They've kind of coasted through these games the past couple weeks against lower tier competition. So I think, you know, Carr has been able to, in those games to probably, you know, figure some stuff out, figure out the mistakes they were having early. So this middle of the season game, I think it's going to be a kind of back and forth. But overall, I do think right now Notre Dame is a more talented team. And the quarterback that USC has was Maiava or something.
Yeah, Maiava. Yeah.
I mean, he's coming on strong. He's looking good. So I think overall, both offenses should look pretty good in this game. And if Jordan Love can get going, then I think he's the best running back right now. So if he can get going, it gives Notre Dame that advantage. And if Carr can just stay consistent and disciplined and you know, lead the team and just take control of the game early, because that's what they're going to have to do against this hot USC team coming in off these two wins that they've had the past couple weeks, to get them in this position for this showdown. So,
all right, Brian, your thoughts?
You know, a couple weeks ago, I think USC had a surprise going to Illinois. Didn't really expect the resistance from Champaign that they got. And I think they made proper adjustments at home to take down Michigan and especially their mobile quarterback Underwood. Carr for I believe is Carr for Notre Dame, I believe, is very similar in play style to Underwood. Maybe doesn't have quite the same arm strength, but definitely very similar playability. Throws on the run, scrambles, prefers his short distance throws. I wouldn't be surprised to see Southern Cal come out on top of this one, even though they're playing back in colder weather up in South Bend. They just, out of the two of them, they look like the team that's got it a little more figured out right now. Notre Dame, they're playing very well, but you can't forget about those losses that they had. Texas A&M, close though it may have been, in Miami, same thing, close it might have been, but you got to wonder if they're really capable of playing the talent level of their opponent, because the rest of their wins are Boise State, NC State, Purdue, Arkansas, teams that are hoping for a bowl game at best. So Southern Cal, I think they're a little more battle tested. I think they might be a little more prepared. The only thing I'd give to Notre Dame in this matchup is the home field advantage. Potentially colder weather. Maybe like Jacoby said, you're probably going to run the ball a little more. But if I were a betting man right now, I'd definitely take Southern Cal as my option in this matchup. Especially it's essentially the money line is what we're looking at here. So
Yeah,
I definitely think the cover for USC is that's a lot of points for Notre Dame in this matchup. So betting wise, USC, I definitely like them to cover, but maybe not, 3 points or something.
Yeah, and Notre Dame can score. I mean, if you look, I think the fewest points they scored all season is 24, and that loss to Miami. Otherwise, I mean, we got 4 games over 30, 2 games over 50. So they're capable of scoring. And I think if that offense does get rolling, maybe Notre Dame is the benefactor. But out of the two of them, I think definitely I feel more momentum coming off of Southern California right now, and I'd pick them to take this matchup this weekend.
I think from a betting perspective, I think the over solid play in this game. The over has hit 3 times, I believe, in the last 3 games against these two. Also, Notre Dame against actually competent teams. They allow 27, they allow 41. I think Southern Cal's going to be able to put the ball on. Now, is this the Southern Cal that's going to show up stuff, or is this going to be the Southern Cal against Illinois? They go back out Midwest again. They still put up 32 against Illinois, who was still pretty solid in that game. So I don't know if they're going to be the upset. I think 9 is just too big of a number to trust Notre Dame to cover. Kind of just dub down what you guys were saying. But also, Notre Dame's kind of got to treat this as their playoff game, pretty much, because you look at the rest of their schedule. Scroll down right here quick. There's no other prominent games you're going to play for the rest of the season. Maybe Pitt, if Pitt is actually as good as we think they are. And that's in the ACC at this point. I think all these teams are kind of grouped together. And that's at Pitt on the road. But outside of that, Syracuse, Stanford, Navy, and Boston College. Navy's probably the best one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the American. Definitely, but that's G5. Stuff like that. So if you're gonna make a playoff push and you lose this game, a 9-3 Notre Dame is just looking like a hard sell, unless some chaos happens and there's a lot of 3 or 4 lost teams vying for that 10th, 11th, 12th spots.
Yeah, and especially like you said, the 3 if they lose this weekend, the 3 premier games are the games that you dropped. That does not make a good argument for a playoff appearance. Yeah,
you're gonna be in the playoff and you can't beat the playoff teams. It's hard sell. If I was committing, but we also understand, it's business over results sometimes, as Florida State found out in 23. But We're gonna move to our final highlight of the game.
Why you gotta
SEC.
bring it up, man? Why you gotta
Hey,
hurt me?
I know. I know it's a sore subject. You know, it's hard. I forgot. I think that's the only reason we beat Bama this year. It's kind of like a redemption. Treat it as that. Um, final. Speaking of Bama, got the Tide welcoming the Volunteers. Bama's 8-point favorites in this big SEC matchup for both teams. Bama's been on Tide. They have a hell of a stretch going up. Ryan, let's start us off. Think Tennessee can go over Tuscaloosa to get the upset?
Tennessee definitely can. They have the offense to do it. Problem is, I don't know if they can hold on the ball well enough. It's one of my regular points. I think if you tend to lose the turnover game, eventually it's going to bite you in the butt. And Tennessee's gotten very lucky with being cavalier with the ball. Well, Alabama does not, since Florida State, does not turn the ball over. Ty Simpson is still, I think, either one or two most efficient quarterback in the red zone, and this is in Tuscaloosa. This is the rivalry game where Tennessee is regularly the little brother. And Alabama just kind of slaps them around a little bit, reminds them who's in charge. Can Tennessee do it? Aguilar's played very well. However, he does have turnovers. He's gotten caught in a few strip sacks there, and he's thrown 5 interceptions this year. Whereas Simpson, I mean, he seems to improve week in and week out. It's going to be loud. Alabama is feeling a lot more comfortable than they were after that week 1 loss, and they want to make the playoffs, and they want to make it bad. I think Kalen DeBoer is the kind of coach who can keep expectations at a reasonable level and keep his players level-headed enough to go into this game without playing themselves out of a win. I'd like to think Josh Heupel has the same capabilities, but when that Tuscaloosa Stadium is rocking, you see all that bear tooth, it becomes difficult. And I don't know if Tennessee is going to be able to make the upset this year like they did last year.
All right, how about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. I don't think Tennessee's going to be able to get that upset. Yeah, they are one of the highest producing offenses in the country right now. I think they're like 9th or something. No, 4th with close to 530 yards per game. But, you know, Bama's only allowing close to 290 a game. So, but with Miller and Simpson, you know, they had a battle last week with Missouri, which you kind of expected going into Missouri. It was a big-time game for the Tigers. And they, you know, of course, Bama's going to get everybody's best shot. That's kind of what it is. Sure. And Tennessee is trying to do that again. You know, they've been a thorn in Bama's side a little bit here and there, but I just don't think Aguilar is ready this year. And there's a stigma going into Bama and playing. Like, it gets in your head, too. And we'll see how Aguilar does and handles it, but I just don't see him putting up 600 yards on Bama's defense. So the Tide in that defense, that's normal, you know, but
yeah,
I think if Miller is, does anybody know if because I know at the end of the game he got hurt. I haven't seen anything he's going to be out or anything.
I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't heard that he's supposed to miss this game. No.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, with Miller in there, you know, I like Bama 100 times more.
You got him listed questionable right now.
They can lean on you with that run game. And we all know how that ends up happening. Or if you get that run game leaning on, it opens up a play action pass or two, and then bam, next thing you know, the game's out of hand. So Bama with that, and I think DeBoer, you know, he's got that mindset in Bama now where he's kind of solidifying how his teams are going to run going forward. So I give credit to DeBoer. He, you know, it's a hard place to coach in Bama, and he's got this team that some of us kind of wrote off after that Florida State loss, but he's got them right there in contention. It's where you want them. They're not at the top getting all the conversation right now, and they're kind of still building and developing. But Tennessee is going to, I think, see what this team's really made of. So,
And
8
Tennessee
points might not be enough for Bama in this game, but
Tennessee just played back-to-back close games. The difference was they played Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Right.
Alabama may have played a close game last week, but their last 3 are victories over Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Missouri,
right.
which is a significant increase in the competition level from what Tennessee's seen the last few weeks since their loss at Georgia.
Right. So.
Also chime in that Tennessee does not play well in Tuscaloosa. Kind of like going back to what Jacob was saying. They beat Alabama. Has always been in Neyland Stadium. I think on the road. I think it's just a different game, different beast. This Bama defense is not as good as you would think the Bama standard is or has been with Saban over the course of a decade, especially with their defensive line. Their defensive line is probably the biggest disappointment on this team. They have a lack of a pass rush, a consistent pass rush. I'm not saying they don't have players that can make plays, but consistently they've been stuff. That Missouri game, they kind of figured some things out too, though. But it was stuff. But I'll say from a betting angle with this game, take the over. I think 58.5 is a little
That seems
too low.
safe, yeah.
I think you're safe bet. I can see this being 34-31. I believe the over covered the last 3 games. Double check that.
Yeah, Bama's rushing
3 of the last
defense
4.
is 93rd in the nation, allowing 156 yards.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So there's a
but then their turnover ratio, they're scoring 17 points a game on defense. So
they've been, but they put up some points themselves.
It's not a Nick Saban defense by any means, but
they still got playmakers on.
Yeah, it does. So
4. And Todd Simpson's probably the favorite to win the Heisman.
I'd say right now he probably is. Yeah.
Probably make a case for him, definitely. And then you look at the remaining schedule. He's going to have plenty of opportunities getting national TV.
Barring getting injured. Yeah, I mean,
as long as he doesn't get hurt,
he's in a comfortable spot to lead it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bama's probably the best team in the SEC.
And I mean those last couple drives in that Missouri game, I think he really, he played well. He didn't make mistakes during those drives, and kept them right there.
Yeah,
to be able
Missouri's
to
a good team.
So, yeah.
I mean, like I said, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Bama has played solid football these last few weeks. Kalen DeBoer, he took a loss, got his team's head right, and he has charged forward ever since, taking on every single opponent, as they come, and that's what you want to see when your coach is prepping you for week to week.
Right. Actually, one thing about it, I got kind of like in the debate on social media. I just be debating people on social media because that's what I do at 11 o'clock at night when I'm on my phone scrolling. This is fun.
Petty. That's why.
But someone brought up, if you look at Bama's remaining schedule, I have up on here right now, and they try to make the argument that if Ohio State, Miami went undefeated, and Bama went 11-1 with their own loss being Florida State, my argument was that Alabama would be the number 1 seed because of the schedule. I don't see what does Miami or Ohio State has over the wins that Alabama would get if they
over Miami? Maybe no way over over Ohio State.
What's Ohio State's best win?
It's not about who they beaten. It's about Ohio State. It's about that you are not going to pull that team out of the number 1 spot with an undefeated season, regardless of Alabama or not. That is
It's SEC, bro.
That is, it's
Unfortunately,
SEC, but that's
Ryan,
Ohio State.
right?
Ohio State is one of the most decorated programs
Hey.
outside of Alabama in the country. You know, like,
That's-
and their fans are a little more likely to riot over that.
See, this is where I would say it's full of shit then, because like they're going to argue, and you're going to see all over ESPN, especially in the next coming weeks. Strength of schedule metric we're about to add onto it, and
Right.
Bama's going to be without question number one with that. Even if Florida State goes 7-5, 8-4, and like that's a solid loss on the road, you're going to have potentially 6-7 wins over a top 25 teams compared to Ohio State's maybe one.
Maybe
I
one.
agree with Nick.
Maybe one.
However,
two, probably.
I mean, Ohio State's the defending national champions. They're undefeated. Why are they not
man.
number one? You know what I mean?
They keep saying last year don't matter.
Well, and that stigma then.
That's game to game. In the rankings, it always matters.
Yeah. The rankings don't matter. I'm arguing. Just throwing it out there, you know. Nothing against Ohio State. If Eric, if you're seeing this, don't hate. But I'm just throwing out. No, I'm just throwing.
No, you can
hating.
hate. Nobody here likes Ohio
Don't
State.
worry.
They're hating. I can't speak for them. They're their own men. But no hate from Ohio State for me. You know, I don't have a problem with them. All right, let's throw the board at you guys. Are there any other games that we have not gone over that you got some insights on?
Jacoby, why don't you go first? Only other one that stood out was Georgia Tech Duke. Georgia Tech's undefeated. However, they're going into Duke as underdogs. That's really the only one that I was. Well, then there's LSU Vanderbilt, but
Well, I give you a run before Ryan chimes in. I did have LSU Vandy as one I want to highlight it. I did have Georgia Tech and Duke. We're going to talk about that when I go over my picks. Some other games, they're not going to get the attention. I think they could be very interesting. Holy War, Utah BYU. That's kind of essentially a Big 12 elimination game as far as like championship contention for the spot. Pittsburgh Syracuse.
Rivalry.
Yeah, it's big rivalry, old Big East rivalry. But also, hey, Pitt beating Florida State, like, hey, that's opened up a potential ACC appearance, championship appearance, you know. This is the product of having 16, 17 teams in the conference, you know. It's not necessarily the best teams, it's who has the best path. Michigan, Washington. This is kind of I think Michigan's a team you got to watch out, not in the sense of them being scared, but that job become open at the end of the season. Not to ride up the Wolverine fan base over there, but I don't think they looked a lot better when what's their head coach name again? Blanking.
Harbaugh, or who's coaching right now?
Who's coaching now?
Oh,
Moore or something.
Oh.
Not Howard.
I'm looking at it right now. All right, say this
I can't believe all of us are blanking on.
Yeah, Sharon Moore. Yeah, blanking on it. Sharon Moore. There we go.
I said Moore.
Yeah, you did say Moore. Yeah, you did say Moore. Not to knock on another brother, man, but I'm like, they looked a lot better when you weren't on the sidelines when you were suspended.
Oh, ouch.
I'm not saying that Wolverine fan base, you know, I think they just hire you because you're just a good option, but you know, you got time to make it right. But that's just something to keep an eye on. Some other games that could be good. Louisville, Miami. That's sneaky. I know Louisville hasn't looked as good as it was once hyped to be, but I think they can go to Miami to get the upset if Miami doesn't show up. Then Missouri, Auburn. I think that's a sneaky good. I know Auburn's coming off a loss, but Auburn could beat Missouri. I think they got the talent, especially Auburn's.
I think Auburn could. Yeah, that was one of the games I was going to bring up as well.
Yeah, just the QB play for Auburn is just so bad that you.
Yeah.
It's just like God, man.
Hey, he makes it happen when it matters.
makes it happen when it matters. I give him that pass on it. But those are the games I had lined up. Kind of keep tabs on. How about you, Brian?
I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Texas Tech Arizona State game. Arizona State started the season top 12. They pulled a hell of a game out last week behind Sam Leavitt. And this is Texas Tech's, I think, real first challenge in the Big 12.
Second.
What's that?
Second. They played
Second.
Utah, right?
Yeah. Okay, Utah. Yeah, Utah. They're looking good again. But you're going into Sun Devil Stadium. Can Texas Tech hold on to their top 10 spot? Mississippi State, Florida. Mississippi State, Florida, I think is going to be interesting because is Mississippi State better than we expected, or is Florida going to do what they did last year and crack down in the second half of the season? Are they going to play the way they were expected to before and finish out smelling like roses? And the last one I'm really interested in is Washington State at Virginia. I know Washington State just traveled out to Oxford last week, and I do not envy those football players flying all the way back to Washington just to fly back out to the East Coast. But they gave Ole Miss a run for their money in Oxford. Virginia, they do not want to lose another game. At this point, they're hoping for a playoff spot or at least an ACC championship spot. And you don't want to lose that momentum or lose that confidence in those players by dropping a game to Washington State in your own stadium. Not when you took down FSU already. So those are the games I'm going to be interested in.
All right. You guys heard it first. That was our highlight breakdown of some of the biggest games of the week. Now it's time for our best bets segment. Our best bets segment. God, I don't know why I can get that out there. Jacoby, we're gonna start with you, buddy. Put you up on the board. Take this off right quick. Have at it, bub.
All right. So, sorry, I got to pull up. First one I got is UNLV over Boise State. Not over, but covering.
Cover.
Right now, it looks like I think it's 11.5 is what I'm seeing. Boise State, they've had 2 losses that were one kind of expected, one not so much. But 12 points is a lot to cover in this type of game. It is a essential, kind of for UNLV. They're still top of the conference right now in the Mountain West, making this run. It wasn't pretty in the beginning, but now it is. They've kind of leveled out. But I do like UNLV to stay in there and cover that 12.5. If not, win it outright to kind of solidify that top spot out in the Mountain West.
Dan Mullen's having fun.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
He's enjoying himself.
In Vegas.
Yeah. Yep. Then we got Clemson -9 over SMU. We kind of went over that one earlier. I got A&M covering 7.5 on Arkansas. Just they're continuing on a roll. Number 4 team. The quarterback play now. His name's blanking.
Reed, more so Reed.
Reed, yeah. His quarterback play has been good. Defensively, they've been pretty sound. So in Arkansas, they've had a couple really not tough, but kind of shootout games the past week and ended up coming up on the wrong side of them. So I think they're probably going to be demoralized a little bit going into this game. But that's why I got them covering that one. And I'm going to roll with UCLA still until they prove me wrong right now offensively. I'm betting them. 3.5.
Take the hot bet, man. Take the hot bet.
Yeah, I mean, until, like I said, I was on Florida State until y'all screwed me over a couple weeks ago. So UCLA, I do think this is kind of like revitalized Nico a little bit. it looks like he's having fun, kind of. So hopefully he can get back to that, the number 1 QB that he was rated. So, but I think he's kind of picking it up now. So give me that 3.5 points on them. And then my last one was the UConn money line over Boston College. UConn's made a couple wins this season I didn't expect. Boston College has played horrible. Clemson kind of ran all over them last week. It just, like Nick said, UNC and Boston College are not very impressive teams. So give me UConn to cover or win outright.
What the hell, Jacob?
What?
How you not have Hawaii on there right now? Like, what's going on, bro?
And obviously the Hawaii money line, but I've been on Hawaii.
Too late. It's too now.
So.
You put
too late now. Yeah.
That now.
Ain't no true rainbow warrior over there, man.
No piggybacking.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know if you were going to give me a whole segment on Hawaii or not, so I wasn't.
Too late. You should have gambled on it. This is a
betting
podcast.
Yeah.
Bet on
I
yourself.
always gamble on Hawaii.
This is a betting podcast. Bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself, man. They got a big game, Colorado State, the team that cost us some money last weekend.
Well, you didn't believe in them last week, Ryan, so I don't want to hear it from you.
I ain't gonna believe in them this week.
Huh? Hey, Hawaii's been the wagon for me, man. Like, I've been betting on them every week. They've been covering.
Bro, they've covered. They've everything. Alejandro, however you say his last name. Bro, that running back they got with Sims, he's kind of like an up-and-coming Scatterboo.
Yeah.
And Ashlock at receiver, man, he could throw the ball on a dime. Like, he had some pretty passes in that game the other night. But anyway, yeah, I'm always going with Hawaii. Just assume.
Hey, the people can't assume. The people want to see. I gotta make sure.
Enough of this piggybacking.
But
nonsense.
my sure bets, those are my sure bets. I'm not as quite sure on this bet. I'm gonna bet them, but they're not like one of mine.
Hey, I'm betting. I'm down with you, Hawaii. Just know, from South Carolina, we are supporting you in the East Coast.
They don't speak for me, Hawaii.
What's up, Ryan? Ryan doesn't support you. He says he's a Florida boy. That's the real
Sunshine State. You're not allowed on
That's
Island,
the real
man.
Sunshine State.
Ryan can't come out for the podcast then.
Well, you need a villain. You need your Pat McAfee.
I thought we had Matt for that.
Where's he been? I gotta take the role now.
Matt's coaching right now. Softball season.
He's bragging about 8-year-olds' mercy rules that he keeps breaking.
Like, no sportsmanship. God.
All right. Anyways.
How about Brian?
Utah State over San Jose State. Both there last year in the Mountain West before they joined the Pac-12. Bronco Mendenhall. I like him. I like what he did at Boise State. I wanted to like what he did at Virginia. Well, I'm going to like what he does at Utah State now. He's got my money. Vanderbilt. I'm still not totally impressed with LSU. I don't see any fire. Brian Kelly is not making me want to buy into his team. But Palitka, how do you pronounce his name again? Palitka? Anyway, I love the Vandy quarterback, man. He's
Pavia.
I like him, and I'm going to put my money behind him. Georgia Tech. I don't know how an undefeated Georgia Tech is not the favorite against Duke. I know Duke's playing some solid football. They're 4-2, but Georgia Tech, I don't know. They seem like a dark horse for the ACC championship and even for a playoff spot right now. So I'm putting my money behind Mr. King. UConn Boston College. I don't know if you know who's coaching UConn right now, but it's Mr. Jim Mora. I liked him when he was at Atlanta. I liked him when he was at Seattle. I liked him when he was at UCLA, and now I like him now at UConn. However, I don't like him for 30 points, and I definitely don't think Boston College is going to score that either. So that's an easy under for me. And I think we talked about it earlier in the show, but SMU Clemson, yeah, you got to take the over on that thing. I don't know how they let it be so low.
Huh. All right. Those are our Ryan takes. Best bets of the week.
Those are the best bets.
The best bets. Yeah, I got to go do some calculating and see who's winning right now. I forgot to add in the last week's.
I think I went pretty good last week.
Yeah, I think Jacoby is taking a solid first place
win.
spot.
I'll look at doing tonight. All right.
I know I went 4-1 because of.
Let's go to the real best bets then. Texas Tech. I'm taking them to cover against Arizona State. I think Texas Tech is for real. One key note with that game, Sam Levitt.
Yeah, Levitt.
Levitt. He's actually not going to be playing this game. He's out. He's ruled out. So give me the Red Raiders to cover that easily. I said this earlier in the Oklahoma South Carolina game, under 43.5. I know that's almost a damn Army Navy under. I think 43.5. I think these are pretty solid defenses. I think with limited offenses. The only thing bad beat that can happen to me is South Carolina special teams. That's what can probably potentially kill me with the under. But I think 17-14 easily what this game can go. Give me Coastal Carolina. This is the team with free concessions because they are for the people and stuff. But their big rivalry game against App State. Sorry I didn't put the opponents in. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Oh, I'm not trusting the Chanticleers over App State this year.
I am 100%. I think Coastal's been playing better. I know they lost their quarterback at the beginning of the season. They ain't been playing great, but I think 10 points and boom is a little too much. I'm not picking them out right, but I think they should easily cover. Memphis. I think this is the best team, well, one of the best teams in the American. I think this is probably your representative going against South Florida in the American Conference Championship. I don't know if they play regular season. I got to look into that. But give me Memphis over UAB. UAB just fired Trent Dilfer as their head coach.
About time.
It was about time. That was overdue.
I was long overdue.
Long overdue. So give me Memphis. I think the easy out 21. The number's probably too low. It's probably be up a little bit higher by the time.
They should have fired him the day after they hired him.
I ain't go that far. They tried that bad. It was pretty good in high school. I don't think you should hire a high school coach to be a head coach.
I like the Blazers. I watched some Blazers games. I've seen some nasty losses since he took over.
That's fair enough.
Good riddance.
And give me Duke over Georgia Tech. I know y'all arguing that the wrong team was favored. I think the right team's favored. I think Duke is better. I think Georgia Tech should get the love, but I think they just played down to the competition too often. Even that Virginia Tech, oh my God, that was a bad beat. If there was fucking one spread covered. Covered about 15, it was 14.5. Like, fuck you. But no, give me Duke. I think Menza is going to carve up that Duke's Georgia Tech defense. You get Georgia Tech in Durham, and Georgia Tech's not the best road team. I know they're undefeated, which sounds contradicting myself, but I think the Dukies going to handle it. And also, I just want to fire Ryan. I was like, what disrespect Duke like that? Manny Diaz, potential Penn State head coach.
Former Miami head coach.
Huh? Look, man, this time in Miami was all his fault. That administration did not support him the way he needed to be supporting to win.
It doesn't matter. He coached the enemy.
Hey, man, he's not there no more. Forgive and forget, you know?
Hell no.
I mean,
once a grudge, always a grudge.
Mark Richt coached Miami, and he was.
We ain't speaking about that. Everybody loves Mark Richt. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. He was the offense. He was the offensive coordinator at Florida State first.
Well, give me Manny, man. Manny over Duke. I think it's 7. If you're a Georgia Tech administration, there's no hate because I'm trying to apply there for grad school. So please holler at your boy.
How dare you pull Mark Richt out on me? How dare you?
Just don't
it's only in a good man's name like that. Miami talk.
Is there any bets you guys didn't post on your board that you want to give a mark on before we get out of here?
Yeah. take Stanford to cover against Florida State because apparently Florida State
that.
plays exactly to their opponent's talent level. So you can guarantee they won't be escaping Stanford.
I thought that's fair.
It's very valid at this point.
I was tempted to put that just for clicks, to have it
Yeah.
on there. But I was just like, I can't do it. I'm not trying to root against Mike Norvell. But damn it, he making it hard. I got a couple. Giving Mississippi State the cover against Florida. I think not too big of a number. I know Mississippi State is vastly improved. I know Florida's defense is pretty good, but the offense is still relatively limited. There was another game. I just saw it. Washington State the cover against Virginia. Virginia has not done anything to be favored 17.5 points, even if I know Washington State's come all the way from the West Coast to the East.
But they're doing it back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks, man. But, hey, they got to get that paycheck, man. They're in the Pac-2 right now.
Still tough. Still tough
out there. Cross country is pretty tough. I have one more. Let me see if I can find it. I was going to go Old Dominion, but they lost last week, so I'm staying away from that one.
How about the Blue Hens over Jacksonville State?
Ooh, okay. I like it. Oh, yeah. Give me West Virginia to cover against UCF, 7.5. I think Rich Rod's going to get back on board, get that shit rocking. And I think that's all I got. I'm looking right now. I'm seeing 4. Yep, that's it. You got any, Jacoby?
I'm looking. I don't.
No, what? Fuck it. Give me Louisville 14.5 over Miami.
Damn, over?
You got 14.5.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's not 14.5 point favorite. Oh, plus 14.
Okay, to cover. Okay, yeah.
To cover. Yeah,
We're sitting at I'm sitting at 13.5 on that.
There's some 13. It's 13.5 for mostly it's 13. There's 14s on a couple of apps. You can get mostly it's 13.5.
Miami's got that, but
I'll take Wyoming 3.5 over Air Force.
Yeah,
I don't know why Air Force is a 1-5 favorite, even though they're at home. I'll take Wyoming.
That's true. Where was the other one I saw? I saw one.
Hey, you say that, then I thought Fresno State undefeated was going to do that. They got blasted by Colorado State Friday.
Yeah, that was a horrible game.
I was like, oh God. Yeah, that's about all I got.
That's about all I got. Other than Colorado State over Hawaii.
It's Hawaii.
Think I should do it, guys?
I think you should. That way I can take some money from you.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Yes, I am. Give me Maryland 3.5 over UCLA. Plus money on that. I'm a Malik Washington fan. And I know Jacob's been riding the bandwagon with UCLA, and they've been looking good, but I know Maryland's defense isn't quite that, but they can put up points. And
all right, I got one more really shocking one here. FAU and South Florida.
I saw that one.
I'm taking the over at 74.5.
Okay.
Oh.
Taking the over.
Well, South Florida can do that by themselves. So.
Yeah, I mean they put up 6. I was like, God damn, North Texas.
South Florida puts up points, man.
Make it make sense. I didn't think North Texas was going to stop them. I thought they was going to keep scoring with them at least.
I was worried. I was worried for the Bulls. I really was.
But that's another game. Is North Texas this week? Is free?
They're playing Army, ain't it?
Well, I'm just saying. Last week FAU put up 53, and South Florida put up 64. So
they're playing USTA, and they're 4-point favorites. North Texas.
I'll stay away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, stay away from the Roadrunners, man. They'll ruin your day if you bet against them. I promise
They're
you.
sneaky, yeah.
They are upset.
But maybe the over in that game is sitting at 67.
That's a high number.
Yeah, it's a little high for Texas San Antonio for me.
No, but for for everybody that loves Virginia. Well, before I say this, let me make sure I'll check out. Not going this blindly. Damn. All right, know what? I'm gonna go with it. Give me Old Dominion over JMU. I'm actually going to be on a. If you guys are interested, they actually on X. They do a pretty big. I don't know what you call them things. Kind of like a group chat, but through X. But they do a college football discussion. It's actually pretty informative. But I know one of the guys in there. He's a big Old Dominion guy. And it was originally talking about them making the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore, obviously. But but I'll take Old Dominion over JMU on the road too, plus 1.5. So you heard it here first on the dual threat. But that's all I got. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, if that's all we got. We actually ran pretty hour and a half today, so let's get a solid pod. 20 of that was me bitching about Florida State, but so that was warranted.
There's a lot of good games this week. That's the problem.
This is loaded, man. College football's been pretty on fire the last few weeks. Like not just like with the headline games.
It's unpredictable. It's the best year I remember in a while.
Yeah. It's solid, man. So I'm enjoying it. So like Saturday, I'm be stoked for it. Well, with that being said, man, this is the Dual Threat Podcast. That's Ryan. That's Jacoby. I'm Nick. Please, if you're watching this live, please subscribe. Try to get these followers up. If you're listening to us via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a follow. Try to do better with some shorts this week too. So that's for my Florida State events. I'm trying to get some numbers up. Ryan right now has the biggest. Ryan, you got like 3,000 views on a reel with SMU and Baylor. Not SMU, Baylor.
All right. Keep promoting me. Hey, I'll give you all the goods, man.
You've been on fire with it, so props to you. I'm gonna make sure I do a better job of lining them up. All right. With that being said, man, this is the pod, man. Check us out. We'll be here every Tuesday, 6 o'clock sharp, or 6:15. Black people time. All right. We out. See you guys.
Peace.